Hi, my name is Katie Burns, and you are watching Live Well, Channel 18. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to be cooking in the kitchen, my kitchen at home. I'm going to be walking you through an entire day of food. We're going to be starting off with simple granola. It's going to go great with yogurt, and you can even eat it as cereal or snack. And then we're going to move on to lunch, where I'm going to be cooking joyful pasta. It's really good, very flavorful, a lot of herbs and roasted vegetables. And then for dinner, we're going to have brilliant meatballs. You guys know I'm married to a cattle farmer. It's our family business, so I had to do beef on my first cooking episode. So thank you. I hope you enjoy today. And meet one of our barn kittens. This is Frankie. She was very fortunate to go home with my mother-in-law. So she's now a celebrity happy kitty. Thank you guys. Let's go to my kitchen. We're going to start with breakfast. Now, I came up with this because, I'm going to set this over here. When I was reading the granola packages, they were filled with sugar. And while that is tasty, we are trying to be mindful about what we're eating. I'll just leave this in here. So you can create this very easily, very quickly at home without having to buy expensive granola. A lot of times it's pricey. And you can watch what you put in here. And also a lot of times people are going to serve this with yogurt, and the yogurt has sugar in it. And so we don't need to double our sugar. So here's what you can do. Two cups here. That's about another 2 cups. There. And you spread that out. Now we have sliced almonds. And guys, this stuff is local. You don't have to go to a fancy grocery store and get it. We have this in our area. So 1 cup of sliced almonds, that's gonna add protein to your breakfast in a nutty form. There's some more. And just to add even more, we have some pepitas. They're really tasty. Sprinkle those on. And then we have dry roasted pumpkin seeds. And you know, a lot of times I will do this recipe with just almonds and oats. And like I said, these are just plain oats. You don't have to be fancy with it. So we just kind of spread this out on a baking sheet, like so. Isn't it pretty? Can you see it? And then this is cinnamon. We just sprinkle. If you'd like a measurement, I'd say that's probably 2 tablespoons per pan. And you can even add nutmeg on top of there too. A little bit of ground ginger. We kind of have a pumpkin spice-ish thing going there if you did that. Now, if you wanted extra calories, you could drizzle some honey over it. That's fine, but know what you're doing. This in of itself is good. You put it in some Greek yogurt because then you have the added protein from the Greek yogurt. And if you really want to go the extra mile, get some points, do plain Greek yogurt and make your own sweetener. Just blend up some strawberries, blend up some blueberries, put it in. And that way you don't have the extra sugar sweetener that they normally add. So, but if you don't want to go to that effort, that's fine. I know we don't have a lot of time, but you can just put this over and that's your granola. But you're going to cook this on 250 for 20 minutes and just lightly toast the granola. It's so lovely. And then you get some dried fruit. I like the kind without the added sugar. That is a little bit harder to find, but it's out there. Then here's your final product. You just put it in a pretty jar or a bag, and then in the morning, you grab your Greek yogurt, you throw this over it, breakfast. It is wonderful. Oh, that's what we're eating here right now, the granola for breakfast. Now we're gonna move on to lunch. I know sandwiches are popular. I'm all about the sandwich. We may even make a sandwich here on the show at some point. But you have to make a sandwich. So I'm trying to cut down on your time. I'm trying to make it so that you can just scoop it in a container and go. And this dish is called joyful pasta. So I'm super happy and my body's happy because it's got a lot of yummy vegetables that you can find right now because they're growing in many people's gardens, except for the mushrooms. Don't think we're growing those here. Okay, so you take a Pyrex dish and you're gonna cut up carrots, 3, 2, depends on how much beta carotene you want. Then you're gonna cut up 2 squash, 2 zucchini, some mushrooms. Doesn't it look pretty? And you're gonna take your olive oil, sprinkle. You don't want it drenched. You don't want them swimming in your olive oil. I would say that's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I will put this recipe on my Facebook page. This is just nicely, just a little bit of sprinkle. And then you're gonna take your pepper, about a teaspoon, sprinkle. You know, depends on how spicy you want it. And then you're gonna sprinkle with some salt. Depends on how much salt you can afford. Now, you can roast it like this, and you can add your tomatoes in while you're roasting it, or you can add them after. Either way is amazing. And this is just gonna roast on 425 for 25 minutes. And then it's done. And it comes out like this. Magic of TV. No, really, I cooked this before the show. And I also cooked this pasta before the show. This is just bow tie pasta. You can use macaroni, you can use whole grains, like I should have used, considering that I talked about that earlier, but it didn't have it, and I really liked the bow tie pasta. And, you know, look, you can eat this cold, you can eat it warm, whatever you like. You know, it's also really good. Okay, I have to steal from over here from my arrangements that my lovely mother did for me. This is basil. Tear it up, put it over it. Lovely. It's Italian now. See, it's really easy to make this foods. You don't have to be a chef. You don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. You can even buy the majority of the stuff already cut up if you don't want to cut it up and throw it in the pan. And then you've got, you know, several meals that you can eat off of for lunch or dinner. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you today for lunch. And again, that's joyful pasta. Okay, you guys ready for dinner? I know that I am. I made these, I created these meatballs Friday, and my husband didn't understand how come he had been so deprived, because I don't normally make meatballs. But I was thinking, you know, my first show out here with my friends, I have to use Burns beef, right? Yes, we're cattle farming people. I gotta use the ground beef. So I made meatballs. And there are a lot of wonderful meatball recipes out there. And what I noticed is they're all really unhealthy. They call for cream, they call for whole milk, and we don't really need that to make a good meatball. So I'm going to show you today how to make, as my husband calls, brilliant meatballs that are also good for your health. Where to begin? I'm gonna need my eggs too. There are many people in this community that sell eggs. If you don't make your own eggs, I hope you're friends with them. We have our own eggs and I love it. It's such a gift to be able to have that here. So you start with 1 pound of ground beef. Now, this doesn't make a lot. You can double this recipe really easy. But I'm just doing it for simplification, doing a small amount. So 1 pound, 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. And in this, I'm using panko, but you can really use anything. Pour in the bowl. 1 egg. Crack it in there. Then guys, I did a tablespoon of tomato paste. Have you guys seen this thing? This is neat. It is tomato paste in a tube, which means you don't have to open up a whole can. If you're making a large amount, open up that can. But if you're doing just 1 pound, find this product. It will save you money. So, tablespoon of that. I'm eyeballing it. I'm trying to be professional. This is garlic and onion. 1 garlic clove, about a tablespoon of finely chopped onion, unless you really want to taste that onion. And then leave it chunky. But honestly, the point here is just to get it done. It's not about perfection. There is a girl that I follow her blog. She's a really neat person. Her name is Emily Lay. She makes planners. And reason I'm telling you this is because she has this saying, and it says, what she says is, it's about grace, not perfection. Okay, so don't think that everything has to be perfect. It's all gonna work out. It's all going in your belly. Just give it a try. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be so worried about exact measurements. You know, you'll adjust, you'll learn, it'll be okay. I didn't start out cooking as a young one. In fact, I don't think I started cooking until my mid-20s. And I was on the phone with my mom cooking, saying, it's boiling now. I don't know. Yeah. I did that. I also had a friend from Nigeria, and he brought in a lot of different spices that I'd never heard of and taught me how to cook by smell. That's why this one was so neat, because you can like smell the herbs in it. You know, you put rosemary in it, you know, oregano, really anything if that's what you're into. And so I learned from him and just, you know, practicing. And I lived alone till, I don't know, 30s, you know, whenever I got married. Who can remember when that is? And I never understand how come people don't cook for themselves. To me, you're celebrating yourself, and you can cook whatever you want, whenever you want. You don't even have to take anyone into consideration. So I'd put on a movie, and I would just cook for hours, and I'd have watched a movie and made some great food. So do take time, make an event, and have fun with it. Don't get hung up on perfection. Okay, so looking for a ½ teaspoon, but again, guys, it's just whatever you want, of pepper, ½ teaspoon of salt. Okay, garlic, clove, onion. Oh, guys, look at this. Okay, we're gonna put in a teaspoon of honey. This is local honey from who I call the Honey Man. That is not his name. His name is Kenneth. You can get this at the co-op or up on the mountain in Dayton. Also have to shout out to Mike Parton, Sequatchie Cove honey. I love that stuff. I need some more. A couple dashes of Worcester. Ooh, just a little bit. Okay, I'm checking my recipe. Oh, yes, guys, the herbs. Okay, what I've cut up here is about a teaspoon of fresh rosemary and 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley. If you're not an herb person, don't worry about it. It's not gonna break the recipe. It'll still be good. And so here's what it looks like, if you can see, okay? Now, we're just gonna smash it. Let me get my plate first, so I'm ready. And, you know, ladies, if you've had your nails done recently, I can't say that this would be a great thing for them. And I would take off your rings because you don't want to clean this out of your rings. I don't understand how people on TV don't take off their rings when they're mashing in meat. I don't know how long they have to spend cleaning their rings out. But take your rings off and don't wear like pretty light colored clothes like I'm wearing right now. Put on something messy. Cook in your pajamas. It'll be okay. So I'm just kind of smashing everything together as you would if it was meatloaf. And then you're gonna make about golf ball size. Can you get that? And this also helps with your portions. You know, a lot of times people overeat. And so, you know, with these, you can have like 3 of these and a side salad. That's dinner. You know, we cut some out in the garden for dinner tonight, some lettuce. We need to cook, and this would be, you know, really good all together. Now I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay. All right, so this is how, look at that. This is how they should look, about that size. And then I'm gonna stick them in the refrigerator, in the freezer for 10 minutes. This really just helps to firm them up a bit before you start cooking them. Now, you can cook these in a skillet with some canola oil, which is what I usually use if I'm gonna cook something on the stove. That's gonna be more caloric. Or you can bake them in the oven on 350 for about 25, 30 minutes, depending on your oven. You just get a baking sheet, you line it with aluminum foil, set them up like that, and bake. The good thing about that is it's in the oven. You can go to something else. Like you make your salad, and you're gonna have less grease that way. Either way, on the stove or in the oven, 350, 25 to 30 minutes. And this is how they're gonna come out. Looking like that. Nicely browned, even though they were done in the oven. That's a little warm. We'll set that there. Now, you can eat those plain. They're good. Or you can put a little marinara sauce on top of them. And you can make your own marinara sauce. Or you can get some out of a jar, throw some fresh basil on it and say, yeah, here's my marinara sauce. So we're gonna let that heat up for a second before we put it on top of there. And while that's heating up, I'm gonna do our question and answer portion. Like I said earlier, I want you guys to write in, to tell me what's important to you, questions that you have, what you need, or what would be helpful. So I'm gonna read to you a couple questions that I have from some friends. Dear Miss Burns, I struggle with finding healthy snacks to eat during the day, and sometimes I have snacks before bedtime. I know that I shouldn't do it, but it's hard to stop. What things can I snack on that wouldn't be bad for me? Thank you. Perplexed in Pikeville. Okay, yeah, we talked a little bit about this, but let me continue. Plain almonds are good. Carrots, I know everyone says carrots. Sprinkle a little salt on them if you don't have blood pressure issues. makes them better. You can dip them in some hummus. You can also dip a cucumber in hummus. Bell peppers, you know, for the people that want a little bit of a crunch, that can be helpful too. Also, tomatoes. I mean, they're about to be everywhere. They're lovely, mixed in with a little bit of vinegar and some tomatoes and cucumbers. Very spring, very summer. Cheese, you just have to be careful. You can't do too much cheese. Sometimes people overeat on the cheese and it is fattening, but a little bit goes a long way. And of course, fruit. Keep a banana. Next question. Dear Katie, I have trouble worrying a lot, and with all the election news and bad things happening, I find myself even more worried about the future. Do you have any tips to help? Just an old worry wart. Yes, I do have tips to help. This is the first thing that therapists, or well, myself, will work with some of my clients, is we ask them to get a blank sheet of paper. And on that sheet of paper, just draw 2 big circles. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but they're just 2 big circles, and you'll label one can control and the other one cannot control. And you fill it out. A lot of times our worry comes from focusing on things that we cannot control, like the election. We can't control what the media says. We can't control what the politicians do. We can control how we vote. So that's how you would fill out your circles. You would say, you know, they reported on this and I'm so mad about our future and I just found out, you know, about this politician. And you say, well, you know what? I can vote. And that is something that is within my control. And, you know, what else did you say? Oh, bad things happening. Yeah, that's life. And that's very trite and a very short answer to that, but everyone has something really challenging that they're trying to face. And I like to encourage people to pray about it. You know, write down your worries to God, write down your prayers, and then watch how He answers it, because we really want to turn that over to Him so that it's not bringing us down, so that it's not hindering us. A lot of times, you know, people will have these unhealthy eating habits because they're worried, and they stress eat and they overeat, and that's not going to help the situation. It's not going to change the situation. So to do just a little bit, or to, you know, start making a change, start writing down some things. Start focusing, you know, on your prayer life and turning things over and seeing what you can control. What can I pull from my garden? What doesn't need to be there? You know, perhaps the news isn't for you. I do tell my cardiac patients, you may not be able to watch the news. If it's causing your blood pressure to rise or you're getting really heated, you know, turn it off. If it's not, you know, they really drum it up. Every day there's a shooting. Every day there's a death. Every day, you know, there's really bad things out there, and that can bring a person down. And if you're gonna dwell on that and focus on it, then maybe you just turn it off, get a newspaper, and then pick, you know, what you want to find in order to stay informed without the drama of the newscasters that come with it. Those are just some tips. You know, you can even use this in your relationship. You know, can and cannot control. I cannot control him. I can't control what I do. You know, I can't control, you know, if he yells at me. I can control if I yell back. I can control the words I use. Those are things that can really bring down, you know, scale down the level of any kind of relationship difficulties that you have, is to break this out and realize, am I focusing my energy on something that I cannot control versus something that I can control? You want to focus on what you can control. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. And again, you can write in to me, livewell@bledsoe.net, and also to the Facebook page, Live Well. I think our meatballs are ready for some sauce. Turn this off. So you're just gonna take some marinara sauce and you're just gonna do a little dribble over it. Just like a little nice hat. Remember guys, we are regular folks and we're just trying to get dinner on the table. So if this doesn't, look as pretty as it does on the Food Network channel, that's okay, because this is good dinner. And it's gonna taste really good too. And if you want to be a Food Network star, look, there's some greenery. Oh, it's so easy. It's just from our garden. It's basil. It's lovely. I don't know if anybody in your family will care. Perhaps your kids are like, ooh, what's green on top of that? But you're like, eat it, love it. It'll be good. Breakfast, granola. Lunch, joyful pasta. Dinner, this and the lettuce that we picked out of the garden. Watch your dressing. Be mindful of that. There's a lot of caloric ones. Perhaps on another show, I will give you some recipes to make your own dressing at home. Really easy, really tasty. But I've had a big time today. I really appreciate ValleyTV for this opportunity. I hope that you'll turn in. Thank you, Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative. You guys need to go like their page, Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, to stay informed and stay up to date about things that are going on with them. Upcoming for us, we're gonna meet again. We're gonna be talking with Omni Rehab, Travis Smith. We're gonna go grocery shopping. We're gonna do some exercising. That reminds me, guys, you gotta get out there and start walking. Remember, 1 mile, 100 calories. Let's go, measure it, know your distance. In my promos, I talked about writing in your food diary. Hope you're recording your food. You can write it down, or you can use my Fitness Pal, which will give you a calorie count. The only thing I have to say about that is don't let it tell you can have more calories because you exercised. You exercise so that you can, if you need to lose weight, lose weight. Be careful about that. It's a bit of a trap. But it's a fun app and everybody has their phone with them, so they do enjoy using that. MyFitnessPal or just a plain sheet of paper. It's fine to be recording that. Those things, exercise, clear your pantry, get in the kitchen, cook, make it a family thing, or turn on a movie and just have some peace while you cook. All these are really good things. I hope that you will tune in the future, and that you will write me, and that you will take time to live well. Thank you.